Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Sri Lanka adds to Pakistan's isolation, announces that it is pulling out of the SAARC summit in Islamabad, says peace and security are under threat in the region because of terrorism. Pakistan violates ceasefire for the fifth time this month along the line of control in Jammu region. Curfew imposed in parts of Srinagar in the wake of a separatist call to occupy Lal Chowk city centre. Former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin surrenders before a Siwan court. Supreme Court cancels his bail petition and tells state government to speed up murder trials against him. And the Supreme Court pulls up Karnataka for not respecting order on sharing Kaveri river water with Tamil Nadu. Court asks centre to constitute river management board within 3 days. Well, first up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for making the Swachh Bharat mission a mass movement. He inaugurated the day-long conference in Bulletin on the issue of cleanliness.
मुझे लगता है कि अब जब गांधी जी की 150वीं जयंती मनाने जा रहे हैं, तब जैसे सत्याग्रही गुलामी से मुक्ति दिलाता है, तो स्वच्छाग्रही गंदगी से मुक्ति दिला सकता है.
Making a case of Swachhagraha, the Prime Minister recalling Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha to make India free from dirt. Addressing the Indian Sanitation Conference in Bulletin on Friday, Narendra Modi said cleanliness needs to become a mass movement and can't be achieved with just budget allocations.
हिंदुस्तान की सरकार का, राज्य सरकारों का 100% बजट स्वच्छता में डाल दें तो भी स्वच्छता नहीं होगी. लेकिन अगर हम देशवासी तय कर लें कि अब गंदगी नहीं सहन करेंगे, न गंदगी करेंगे, न गंदगी करने देंगे, आप देखिए बजट हो या ना हो, स्वच्छता अपने आप आना शुरू हो जाएगी.
Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu and Rural Development Minister Narendra Singh Tomar also applauded the efforts of several stakeholders in the Swachh Bharat mission.
This is the biggest ever mass mobilization in the recent years, I can say. What is most heartening is that women are in the forefront of the movement.
पिछले 2 वर्षों में जो काम हुआ, उस काम में राज्य सरकारों का, स्थानीय पंचायती राज संस्थाएं, नगरीय निकाय और बाकी सभी संस्थाओं का जो योगदान है, उसके निश्चित रूप से जितनी प्रशंसा की जाए वह कम ही है.
The National Cadet Corps were also given awards for their contribution to the Swachh Bharat mission. Rag pickers of Swachh Cooperative of Pune were also honoured for their work in solid waste management. Awards were also given to Mysore for becoming an open defecation-free city and Mandi and Sindhudurg for being the cleanest districts. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Now, Pakistan's international isolation was carried a step further, with Sri Lanka also pulling out of the SAARC summit on the issue of terrorism. Neighbouring Afghanistan has already supported and justified India's surgical strikes against Pakistan. The US has also asked Pakistan to act against leaders of Jaish and Hizbul.
Afghanistan has come out strongly in support of India's anti-terror strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
We are against all terrorist groups. We don't make distinction between terrorist groups. Wherever those sanctuaries are, they should be dealt with strongly and they should be taken out of wherever they exist.
Earlier, Afghanistan had followed India in pulling out of the SAARC summit in Islamabad. On Friday, Sri Lanka also announced that it will not take part in the Islamabad summit. Stating that the environment wasn't conducive for the summit, a press release by the Lankan Foreign Ministry said peace and security are under threat in the region because of terrorism. The US has also supported India on its surgical strike by asking Pakistan to crack down on the terrorists in the region. It also named the Jaish and Hizbul organizations in this regard.
We believe that continued communication is obviously important to reduce tensions. We've repeatedly expressed our concerns regarding the danger that terrorism poses to the region, and we all know that terrorism in many ways knows no border. We continue to urge actions to combat and delegitimize terrorist groups like LET and the Haqqani network, Jaish-e-Mohammed. So this is something that we're obviously keenly focused on.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and China have expressed concern on the escalating tension in the region. They urged both India and Pakistan to resolve their issues through dialogue. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
A curfew was imposed in parts of Srinagar on Friday in view of the separatist call to occupy the Lal Chowk city centre and apprehensions of violence after Friday prayers. Curfew was imposed in 5 police station areas of downtown Srinagar and Batamalu and Maisuma areas uptown. All routes leading to the Lal Chowk city centre were sealed and heavy security was deployed to prevent any law and order problems. There was no curfew elsewhere in the valley. However, restrictions on the assembly of people under Section 144 remained in effect throughout Kashmir as a precautionary measure. Meanwhile, Pakistan violated the ceasefire in 2 places in the Jammu region on Friday. At least 2 spots in Nowshera, Salal and Babakor areas witnessed exchange of fire between Pakistani and Indian troops at around 10 a.m. This is the 5th ceasefire violation this month and the 3rd in the past 36 hours alone. The Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on Friday held a cabinet meeting to discuss the cross-border tensions with India. Sharif reportedly said that Islamabad was ready to counter any external threat. He also added that the entire nation and the government was standing with the armed forces, calling India's moved unprovoked firing. The cabinet condemned the attack inside the LOC in which 2 Pakistani soldiers were killed. Sharif also briefed the cabinet on the steps that needed to be taken on Kashmir and the recent exchange of fire at the line of control.
जहाँ तक मुख्तलिफ इश्यूज़ हैं डिप्लोमेटिक सतह पर तो उनको हैंडल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन खुदा न खास्ता अगर उन्होंने कोई और कार्रवाई की उसके लिए भी हम तैयार हैं. हमारी फ़ौज मजबूत है और इंशाल्लाह हम अपनी हिफाजत पूरी तरह करना जानते हैं.
The Supreme Court today cancelled the bail petition of RJD leader Mohammad Shahabuddin 3 weeks after he walked out of the Bhagalpur Central Jail. The top court immediately ordered the Bihar government to take Shahabuddin into custody and also directed it to speed up the murder trials against the gangster-turned-politician.
Hours after the Supreme Court cancelled his bail petition, former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin surrendered before a Siwan court on Friday. Speaking to media persons, Shahabuddin said he respects the judiciary and will abide by the court order.
मैंने हमेशा न्यायालय का सम्मान किया है और आज भी उसी कड़ी में सम्मान करते हुए जैसे अभी आदेश आया भी नहीं, टीवी पर न्यूज मिला, हम लोग जुम्मा की नमाज पढ़े और सीधा चले आए यहाँ.
Shahabuddin's petition was challenged by the parents of Rajiv Roshan, the sole eyewitness to the murders of his 2 brothers in Siwan. Rajiv was killed just days before he was to testify against Shahabuddin, who is one of the prime accused in the murders.
भयभीत लोगों के लिए और दुखित परिवार के लिए जो हुआ सो माने हम इसको सबसे बेहतर कहेंगे कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो फैसला दिया है वो सराहनीय फैसला है.
The apex court also pulled up the state government for its shoddy approach in the case, even as it issued directions to expedite the murder cases against Shahabuddin.
During the hearing of this case, the Supreme Court made its displeasure clear against the Bihar government for having waited for several days before appealing the bail granted to him in this Rajiv Roshan case, for not appealing the bail granted to him in the other cases, and for allowing, or rather not doing anything about the stay of trial of about 45 cases of Shahabuddin.
The opposition also came down heavily on the Nitish Kumar government, describing Friday's verdict as a major embarrassment for the state government.
जब तक शहाबुद्दीन को तिहाड़ जेल में नहीं रखा जाएगा और तमाम मामलों का ट्रायल बिहार के बाहर नहीं होगा, तब तक शहाबुद्दीन बिहार के जेल में रहे बाहर रहे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. और इस मुद्दे पर नीतीश कुमार की सरकार ने चुप्पी साध लिया है, जबकि नीतीश कुमार को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में प्रे करना चाहिए था कि शहाबुद्दीन को बिहार से बाहर रखा जाए और उसके तमाम मामलों का ट्रायल किया जाए.
The Patna High Court granted Mohammad Shahabuddin bail on the 7th of September on grounds that the murder trial against him will take a long time. The former RJD MP is facing more than 40 cases, including those of abduction and murder. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Karnataka's continued refusal to implement the Supreme Court order to release Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu has finally invited condemnation from the apex court. The court has now given the state another chance to release water for 6 days starting Saturday, failing which it said the wrath of the law will follow.
The Supreme Court came down heavy on Karnataka on Friday, reprimanding the state for ignoring its order to share Kaveri river water with neighbour Tamil Nadu. The apex court has now directed that it must urgently release 6,000 cusecs of water every day, starting 1st to the 6th of October.
20 तारीख से और 12 तारीख के बाद से ऑर्डर को तो पूरी तरह से उन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट किया नहीं है और उन्होंने ये स्टैंड भी लिया है कि हम इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे, बट हम चाहते हैं कि भाई लॉ ऑफ द लैंड को फॉलो करें और दे शुड ओबे एंड पानी हमको छोड़ना चाहिए क्योंकि हमको पानी की दिक्कत है.
The court also asked the union government to constitute and make functional the Kaveri Management Board in 3 days, while warning Karnataka that it wouldn't want a situation where the wrath of law will have to follow. It has also ordered that the board assess the ground realities and submit a report next week. Meanwhile, eminent lawyer Fali S. Nariman has withdrawn as the counsel of the Karnataka government, citing the state's refusal to comply with the court order.
The Supreme Court has not considered the ground realities in judging the requirements of the water of both the states. They have gone by the tribunal order, which has been challenged through civil petitions, and it is coming up in 3 men judges on October 18th.
In view of the fresh Supreme Court order, security was tightened in and around Bengaluru. As a precautionary measure, over 450 people were taken into preventive custody and police deployed additional personnel in sensitive areas. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more national news updates now nationwide. The Patna High Court on Friday declared Bihar's amended prohibition law illegal. The law has been aggressively championed by State Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Critics have called the law draconian for the strict penalties it imposes on family members of anyone found making, drinking or selling alcohol. The prohibition law was introduced across Bihar in April. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has announced that farmers in Shingur will get possession of the land after the Durga Puja festival. She said this after an administrative review meeting was held in Hooghly. State Minister Partha Chatterjee clarified that the Mamata Banerjee government was not against industries but was against having factories built on arable land in the state. In the wake of the unrest in Coimbatore following the murder of a Hindu Munani leader, Shashi Kumar, a petrol bomb was hurled at a mosque in Coimbatore. Shashi Kumar was murdered a week ago over there. The state police has arrested more than 200 Hindu Munani workers for the attack that was carried out last Friday. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Some international news now, and world leaders pay tribute to former Israeli president and Nobel Peace Prize winner Shimon Peres as he was laid to rest on Friday. Leaders hailed the vision of the late leader, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describing him as a great man of the world. US President Barack Obama, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, French President Francois Hollande were among those who attended the funeral.
World leaders gathered in Jerusalem to pay their final tribute to former Israeli President Shimon Peres, who was laid to rest at the Mount Herzl Cemetery. US President Barack Obama, French President Francois Hollande, German President Joachim Gauck were among those in attendance. They hailed the vision of the late leader and praised his efforts for world peace. Leading the eulogies, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described Peres as a great man of the world and said there was hope in his legacy.
Shimon lived a life of purpose. He soared to incredible heights. He swept so many with his vision and his hope. He was a great man of Israel. He was a great man of the world. Israel grieves for him. The world grieves for him. But we find hope in his legacy, as does the world.
The funeral also saw the coming together of two bitter rivals, Palestine and Israel. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas met the Israeli PM, shaking hands and having a brief exchange. US President Barack Obama said the presence of the Palestinian leader at the funeral was a reminder of the unfinished business of peace.
Even in the face of terrorist attacks, even after repeated disappointments at the negotiation table, he insisted that as human beings, Palestinians must be seen as equal in dignity to Jews and must therefore be equal in self-determination. Because of his sense of justice, his analysis of Israel's security, his understanding of Israel's meaning, he believed that the Zionist idea would be best protected when Palestinians too had a state of their own.
Former US President Bill Clinton, who helped negotiate the Oslo peace accord between Israel and Palestine, said Peres was Israel's biggest dreamer.
As has been said, his critics often claimed he was a naive, overly optimistic dreamer. They were only wrong about the naive part. He knew exactly what he was doing in being overly optimistic. He knew exactly what he was doing with his dreams. He never gave up on anybody.
Peres died early on Wednesday, 2 weeks after suffering a stroke. He was 93. Peres won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1994 for his peace efforts between Israel and Palestine. However, his reputation was dented by the 1996 shelling of Ghana in Lebanon that killed more than 100 people who were sheltering in a UN compound. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international news now on Global Buzz. 3 people were killed and over 100 injured when a New Jersey transit train crashed through the station in Hoboken during the morning rush hour on Thursday. The train carriage smashed right through the station concourse, collapsing a section of the roof and creating chaos at one end of the busiest transit hubs in the New York City area. The amendments of 4 laws regulating inbound investment in China will come into effect on Saturday. This indicates easing of rules for foreign investors starting businesses across China. The amended laws mark China's shift from current approval system to negative list plus filling of a record system for foreign investors. At least 4 people were killed and 23 others remain missing in a landslide that hit a village in China's Zhejiang province, with Typhoon Meigi forcing the relocation of over 3.15 lakh people. The local government has mobilized more than 2,200 people and other emergency equipment for the rescue. Time for another quick break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
If you look at the cellular level, there is always a DNA change that precipitates cancer. In the sense of the DNA, cancer is a completely genetic disease. In India, oral cancer is the maximally prevalent form of cancer among males in India. Among females, it's cervical cancer, but breast cancer is taking over.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Partha P. Majumdar, Director, National Institute of Biomedical Genomics, only on Rajya Sabha TV. Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
India and Vietnam have entered into a comprehensive strategic partnership. Can the two nations contribute to the stability of Southeast Asia?
Most of the challenges to its development and security comes from the maritime domain.
Both the nations are fighting out the hegemony of China in subtle terms, not very openly.
Watch our special report, New Delhi to Hanoi, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, in the wake of the surgical strikes on terror launch pads across the line of control, Vice President Mohammad Habib Ansari has said that India faces the threat of terrorism from across its borders. Addressing the National Assembly of the Republic of Mali, he said that India condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and is of the view that international and cross-border terrorism should be dealt with in a comprehensive manner.
As we move forward, individually and together, to build a better future for our people and societies, we must also reckon with the impediments to development. Foremost among them is the scourge of terrorism, regionally and globally. The spreading tide of extremism and terrorism is a threat we both face. We in India face it from across our borders. Terrorist actions cannot be justified on any grounds. India condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. and is of the view that international and cross-border terrorism should be dealt in a comprehensive manner.
Some sports now, and India ended day one of the second test against New Zealand at 239 for 7 at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Choosing to bat first, the home side had a poor start, losing 3 quick wickets. Both openers Shikhar Dhawan and Murali Vijay and captain Virat Kohli departed without reaching double digits. However, Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane rescued India from a precarious position, both scoring half-centuries with a 141-run fourth-wicket partnership. New Zealand bowlers struck back again at the end with quick wickets.
It's a field in the deep, but it's a lightning quick outfield and very good placement there by Pujara.
Time off for some more sports action now in Sports Beat. The BCCI has postponed its special general meeting till Saturday on technical grounds. The meeting was called to consider the sweeping reforms suggested by the Supreme Court-appointed Lodha Committee. The Supreme Court had warned the Cricket Board on Wednesday to either fall in line or face the music if it fails to implement the reforms. India lifted the fourth men's under-18 Asia Cup hockey trophy with defeating Bangladesh 5-4 in the final in Dhaka on Friday. In a thrilling encounter, both teams were tied at 4-4 till the last minute, but just 20 seconds from time, India scored the winner to take the title. Indian tennis ace Sania Mirza and a doubles partner Barbara Strykova from Czech Republic reached the women's doubles semi-final at the Wuhan Open. The Indo-Czech pair claimed a 6-3-7-6 win over Timea Babos and Yaroslava Shvedova. They will next face Chinese Taipei duo of Chan Yung-jan and Chan Hao-ching for a place in the final. Zlatan Ibrahimovic headed in a 69th minute winner as Manchester United got their campaign off the ground with a laboured 1-0 home win over Zoyar Luhansk. In another game, Francesco Totti set up 3 goals for Roma as they romped past Romanian outfit Astra 4-0. That's all from us. Goodbye.